Hi everyone, I'm Hoodie Angel Brandon, and welcome to the first ever Interdimensional Teachers Conference. Here we have all of my Byleths just chilling and enjoying each other's company before we inevitably merge them together. I just thought it'd be fun to just kind of watch them do their thing real quick, because I'll probably never see all these Byleths together in one place ever again. So they're just kind of having fun, doing their thing, and I just think it's really cool. But today we are going to be merging all the Byleths together, as well as building him with 4 builds, 3.5 depending on how you look at it. It's 4, but one of them is kind of like a mix between two of them, so I'm not really sure if it classifies as its own thing. But we will see right after we see these Byleths enjoy their lovely little meal. So yeah, with that, let's actually get into the actual building. They've had their fun. Alright, here we have all our Byleths. We have the original Byleth, Byleth Prime. Actually, no, the original was the neutral free one. This is the second Byleth I got that I merged into from the Sothis banner. And he's running his very basic Gale Force wind sweep setup. But not for much longer, he will be merged into one of these lovely Byleths. And we have so many to choose from. 3 of them are plus def. We have a plus HP one, a 2 more plus reses, which it matches with this one. Oh, another plus HP one, a plus attack one, but the one I've decided to go with is plus speed. He is very fast, but faster units just keep coming out, so this will help him keep up. Plus attack runs the risk of overkilling via hitting the enemy when he's attacking, which could prevent Gale Force strats from working properly. And plus res was kind of tempting as like a kind of a parallel to my plus res Corrin, but his res is a lot lower. And with new skills like Close Call that can kind of reduce damage without worrying about your res as much, I think speed is just an overall more solid investment for him for the future. So real quick, we're just going to go through and unfavorite all of these boys, and then we will combine them all. I've been waiting a very long time for this. I wanted to do this a while ago, but I kept waiting on fodder to I was waiting to try and get a Swift Sparrow fodder from Brave Elliewood, but then he didn't show up on the banner. And then we got the we'll just start merging into this one. We got the legendary Celica banner that had her, and she had the Swift Sparrow that I wanted, so I got her, and then I had to grind her hero merit before I foddered her. And then right as we had the data mine for the New Year's units in there, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to pull on that, and then I decided to, so then I got my New Year's unit, and I had to grind her as well. But now everyone has been maxed out on their HM, and they are ready to be to have their skills learned by the dear professor. So I'm very excited. As we just continue to merge him, he grows ever stronger, ever stronger. Get the speed up. And the last one, to bring him to plus 10, our dear professor has achieved his true potential. And next we have to just give him some nice things. He is Astra Blessed, but I'm thinking I want to run him on Light Season instead, just because he needs Flashing Blade Seal or in his A slot, and I haven't decided if I want to give him Flashing Blade in the A slot. but Flashing Blade is not available for him on Astra Season for this seal. So for now, he will run Light Season. I may swap him back eventually, but for now, he'll be a Light Blessed hero. And we can also give him a nice accessory. I've got a lot to choose from. But I think I like this Astral Hairpin on him. I think that just looks really nice. It's simple. I would give him... Well, we'll give him that. I was considering the... where is it? The Wings of Darkness. But they're just a little too high up on his back for my liking. They look more like they're on his neck than on his back. So I don't like those. Oh, I do need to give those to someone. I forgot. I could give him the Norian hairpin just because I like butterflies, but I think the Astral hairpin is just kind of nice and simple. So we'll keep him with that. And of course, he must learn the lovely skills from the new units. Just gonna scroll up, and the first thing he needs is to get Lull Speed Def from Leith, and we'll just grab Attack Speed Solo 1. Maybe we'll get it on another unit in the future that I can inherit it to him. But for now, he wants the Lull Speed Def. And we're also going to get him Celica, and we will take Swift Sparrow 3 and Attack Speed Oath 1 through 3. Like so. Our boy has been reading up on his skills, learning new tactics, and he's going to put them to use. Finally, the last unit that we need is our boy Pent, Pulse Smoke Pent, as I have been calling him. Poor guy is going to be devoured for this Pulse Smoke. I was going to give him Rally Up Attack, but you need 2 stages for it, and so you can't get both. So instead, we'll just grab Dull Range 3, save some feathers. It's not that big of a deal. He probably won't use it to use Rally Up Attack too much anyway, so we'll just take the Dull Ranged, but more importantly, the Pulse Smoke. And now to learn all these new skills, gotta get the Swift Sparrow 3. We'll grab Dull Ranged while we're here. I'm going to use it on one of the builds as a budget skill. Lull Speed Def 3. Pulse Smoke 3. And Attack Speed Oath. And as much as it pains me, I did say in my summoning session that if Byleth showed up all the copies, that I'd give him the summoner support. So I'm sorry, Best Daughter Morgan. For now, Byleth will become the new bearer of my summoner support, which I haven't changed from Morgan since she released. Look at us go. There we go. I don't know if I'll keep this on him, but for now, he'll have it. Oh, wow, that's weird. It's very weird to see that background on anyone but Morgan and to see her without it, but our boy needs it. He doesn't need it, but he does deserve it. Let's go, Byleth. This is the closest I will get to S ranking anyone ever. Alright, next we're going to put together his builds. And like I said, there are 4 that we're going to be putting together today. We're actually going to do his main build after the first 2, because it's, like I said, it's kind of a hybrid of those first 2 builds. So we'll start with this build. This is going to be an Aether Raids Gale Force setup. So of course we're keeping the Sword of the Creator. It's just a fantastic weapon. It gives -1 cooldown count, so he has a 4-turn Gale Force, or a 4-charged Gale Force, and then it also negates things that grant enemy specials, cancels your specials, and it also cancels things that grant enemy follow-up attacks and cancels your follow-up attacks. So basically, he can't be his Gale Force can't be stopped by something like Wary Fighter, can't be stopped by Guard. It just gives him a lot of consistency with this. And then Reposition, standard equip of choice, but you can see he's got some other options here. But Reposition's just the standard. And then, of course, for a Gale Force setup, we do need the Gale Force to swing in and chop up multiple enemies in one round. Lots of other fun toys to play around with as well. And then we have Swift Sparrow 3, gives him a very nice attack +6 and speed +7. His attack and speed are already really good, but this just shores it up and makes him good at killing some of the tankier units that we might encounter. And then B, he's going to run Wings of Mercy. Like I said, this is for Aether raids specifically. So it's on Gale Force centric teams where you want to send one person in Gale Force and then have all your allies Wings of Mercy over to him and try and sweep the enemy team in like one turn. So that's the idea behind that. He does have other B slots that he could run on this set outside of Aether raids. Desperation is good, or Wind and Water Sweep are both great because his Sword of the Creator nullifies things that deny his follow-up attacks, and that, oddly enough, includes Wind and Water Sweep's effect that prevents you from doubling. So, very good, handy little skill for him are Wind and Water Sweep, depending on the map. But Wings of Mercy for Aether raids. And then his C slot is, as always, flexible. Lots of options that we could run. He could run something like a Drive or a Spur or a Tactic skill to buff his teammates. We're going to run Pulse Smoke. It'll just make things a little safer so that our allies don't have to worry about getting hit by a bonfire and dying or something silly like that. Just nice little insurance. Like I said, his C slot is pretty dang flexible. And then for the Sacred Seal, the one thing that we actually really need is Flashing Blade. This just lets it so that if he doubles, which he should with his insane speed and Creator Sword preventing things that deny his doubles, he should charge Gale Force off of one attack and just lets him do this consistently. The only thing we have to worry about is maybe he might kill someone in one hit with coming off of a 65 base attack, but he should be fine, I think. Just got to pay attention to who he's attacking. So that was his first build for Aether raids. Next up is something that's a bit more of a, I guess, like a meme build. It's basically just stacking as much attack and speed as possible to just try and get one very fast and very strong boy. I like to imagine this is pretty much what the equivalent of just S ranking swords in 3 houses is, because then you can just stack Sword Fair and you get Sword Crit +10 and you just demolish everything, and it's really funny. There are a lot of specials he could run on this, but in keeping with the theme of just overkill, we're going to go with Glimmer. Just does more damage, which is funny for this set, but realistically isn't the best set or best skill for this set. But like I said, it's a meme build. We got the Swift Sparrow 3 again, granting us attack speed +7, boosting us to 65 and 56 attack and speed respectively. Then we're going to take the lull speed def, basically makes it so the enemy can't hide behind any buffs. They are going to be eating the full brunt of this attack, and they're going to suffer speed and def -3 too on top of it. Next, we're going to give him attack speed oath. This gives him attack and speed +5 at the start of turn, as long as he's next to an ally, which is a pretty lenient condition, all things considered. So with the fairly easy to activate buff, he should be hitting at 74 and 70 and 61 attack and speed respectively, not counting in the lull debuff to the opponent. And then finally, for our seal, we're just going to stack more Swift Sparrow to push him to 74 and 65 attack and speed on initiation. And then if you want to factor in the -3 speed def, they are going to be taking 77 attack and 68 speed without being able to use any buffs to try and mitigate that, or not visible buffs. They can still use like spurs and drives, but I just think that's a lot of damage, and it's pretty dang funny. Looks pretty good too. So that is the all-out offensive set. Next, we are going to circle back and build his main build, which will be a hybrid of these last two. It's basically going to be a sort of offensively oriented Gale Force set that isn't necessarily built with Aether raids in mind. So it's going to keep that Creator Sword because it's just so good. I don't know why I would ever want to swap that out. Creator Sword is just awesome. Get the reposition, grab the Gale Force. Like I said, you kind of know where this is going. Swift Sparrow 3, give him that extra attack and speed. But then, instead of the Wings of Mercy, instead of something like Desperation, we're going to take the lull speed def. Just gives him more consistency. No buffs for us, thank you. This is especially going to be useful for like this basic build. Might change some things around, but the basic build will be used for like abyssal maps. So being able to turn off buffs and lower enemies' speed and def to kind of keep up with that stat creep should be pretty helpful. Next, we're going to take Pulse Smoke again, though he could take other things here because it's not going to be him going off on his own all the time. He can run more team support stuff like Distant Guard. You guys know why I chose Distant Guard specifically for him, right? You know where that came from. But we're going to go with Pulse Smoke. It's very nice, turns off enemy specials, gives him some nice team support utility. But if he's running on a team with Sakura with her Witchy Wand, he'd definitely want to drop that and just run like Distant Guard, like I said, to provide more team support. And then finally, we're going to take the Flashing Blade again, just to give that Gale Force some more consistency. So like I said, not a full new build necessarily. It's more like a combo of the last two, but this will be kind of his main setup. And then finally is going to be a defensive oriented build. So one of the things that I really like about Byleth is he is probably my second most offense oriented unit, right behind Klein. And I only say second because Byleth can kind of play enemy phase, whereas Klein really doesn't generally have that option. But they're both offense-oriented units. If you look at my units, they tend to be more defense-oriented, and then maybe I'll toss on an offensive build as like just kind of an extra thing for them. But Byleth's a little different. It makes him a little refreshing. It makes him feel unique and different from Xander, who's purely defensive, Corrin, who's just support, and Soleil, who's kind of a mixed phase. But I do love my mixed phase builds, as you guys know, and so I want to give him something that kind of capitalizes off of that still. Again, we're taking the Creator Sword, but here it'll be nice because it can negate things like Impact skills or Bold Fighter, as well as the aforementioned like Guard skills and Wary Fighter on his when we attack. So very nice mixed phase potential on this sword. Certainly not just only usable on player phase. I'm gonna grab the reposition. For his assist, there are a lot of options. I thought about giving him like Aether or Daylight, or not Daylight, Noontime or Soul to give him some heals. I've seen Miracle builds with him, which could be kind of funny. But I'm gonna just go with Ruptured Sky just because it's thematic, and it has really short cooldown. But I don't know if I'm gonna keep that. I'll probably swap to a healing special realistically. And if he has infantry flash or infantry rush support, I could definitely see Gale Force being viable on this build. As well as the previous build, we could even drop Flashing Blade and run something else. If he's getting that kind of infantry rush or infantry flash support, which I did give Sakura infantry rush. I don't know if I'll end up using it, but I thought it'd be fun to play around with. Next, for this mixed phase build, we're going to take his native distant counter, lets us turn the Sword of the Creator into the whip sword that it's known for, but is unfortunately not represented in his artwork, as sad as that is. Female Byleth got the whip sword, but male Byleth just got this kind of awkward pose. I'm not a master swordsman by any means, but I don't think that's the proper way to hold a sword. Just a hunch. But next we're going to take the Dole ranged, just to prevent him from getting blown up by mages. A better option would be something like attack speed lull, but I only have lull speed def. Speed could still be useful to prevent him from being doubled, but attack is what I'd really want to just shore up his defense and res a little bit, negate incoming attacks. But the real B skill I want to get for this set eventually is Close Call, but I did not get that because Avel was kind of spooky on the debut banner for Merida, so that'll have to come later. This is kind of a work in progress build for now. But eventually I'd like to replace that with Close Call. And then for this build, this build was the reason I wanted to get Pulse Smoke on him specifically. Just prevents enemy specials from cracking him. He doesn't get ganged up on and just get slaughtered by a bunch of specials. Very nice, very handy, and it does still have that team support aspect to it. And then to cap this build off, we're going to give him the Warding Stance, shore up his res a little bit. It boosts by 6 up to 33, which isn't fantastic, but it should be decent for tanking a magical hit here or there, especially since a lot of my units run Distant Guard. Should help his magic soaking potential just a little bit. He's not likely to get doubled with his base 49 speed and the fact that he's denying enemy buffs. So like I said, this build definitely the most work in progress of the builds, but a decent start to a mixed tank setup. And like I said, he can tank, and then on his phase, or on player phase, he can turn around and start beating things up with Creator Sword and just do some nice damage. So that'll be that. And now with all 4 builds ready, we can go and test them. Alright, so for this, I know it's not the exact order that I built them in, but we're going to start with the mixed tanked setup, and then we'll do the offensive setups afterwards. We will end with his Aether Raid setup, just because I want to end with Aether Raids. But so we'll start with our mixed phase setup and go from there. Alright, we are here in Arena Assault to just test our boy against some decently put together builds. And his support units for this round will be New Year's Corrin, who's actually his support unit. We've got regular Corrin and Lil Sis Sakura. Though the job, we're not going to have like Corrin go super buff bot or anything. The main idea is just I needed some units to toss in, get some good score. And Sakura will be healing him, but just because I kind of envisioned this build especially getting heals. But we're going to just kind of see how he plays, and let's go. So we got this Jafar coming at us, just getting knocked over. Bam. Goodbye, Jafar. We will send him up to attack Roy. Don't actually do damage to him. That's kind of surprising. We have to use Ruptured Sky to do anything to him. We turn down their specials. And we'll just pass. Roy's gonna hit us, and we'll return with another Ruptured Sky. This will take far too long. We're gonna... Alright, everyone pull back. Byleth move back as well. Hitting us for a little more, but we are actually doing damage now without having to worry about it. Defense tile is kind of cheating, but I just don't want this to take forever. And I didn't decide what map to do, you know? But you're seeing how it kind of works. This one's definitely the most... this one definitely needs the most, like, work. But it kind of works. Here comes Seliph. And here comes the Ruptured Sky once more. Man, if this were actually 3 houses, Sword of the Creator would be long since broken. It made me very sad how not durable that weapon is. It makes sense, but I wish it would. I wish Sword of the Creator was just better. I wish it was as good as it was in FEH, because in FEH it's awesome, and then in 3 houses it's not. Alright, so we're going to lure Effie over to attack us. She hits us for 27, but as you see, even though she has Bold Fighter, she's not hitting us with the double. She's not charging her special, because Sword of the Creator, like I said, actually rocks in FEH. It does not rock in 3 houses. Here we go, we'll finish her off. Had to use the defense tile, but that's fine. Got the job done. Bam. Definitely still need some work on this build, but it functions. Alright, so next we're going to test his sort of main setup, his hybrid build, if you will, between his pure offensive and his Gale Force set for Aether raids, and got more defense tiles. Normally I love to see defense tiles, but they do make it kind of hard for showcases like this, but we'll work with it. Yeah, see, we got Myrrh on the defense tile. That's no fun. I mean, we kill her anyway, but it's no fun. So even with the defense tile and Myrrh's good defense, we're just hitting too hard. We take 20 back. Stings a bit, but we take her out, get the Gale Force, and now we'll go and finish off Marth. Goodbye. And we'll send Sakura over just to heal him up. Not totally necessary, but see, that could have been a bad situation if we hadn't had the Gale Force, because we would have taken out Myrrh and then we would have had to deal with Marth. But Gale Force is just fun. It's actually really fun. Take on Surtur. Can't quite finish him because Steady Stance 4 is pretty dang solid, but we do trigger the Gale Force once again, and we finish him. No need to worry about Sinmara proccing or anything like that. Just get him out of here. And that just leaves Legendary Hector here, who once again will be just demolished by Gale Force. Watch this. Oh, you survived. But actually, no, you didn't. Goodbye. I swear, Gale Force is the best special on Byleth. It's so good on him. Alright, next up we are testing out this pure offensive meme build. Like I said, he would much rather have like Gale Force and Flashing Blade for more consistency, but this one we just want to see what kind of funny shenanigans we can get into. Forgot that I actually do need to come back because I need my attack speed boost from our Oath skill. Not quite used to playing around with those, but can't quite take out Corrin, but we are very close actually. But we'll take out Linus. almost got the one shot on him actually, which is kind of funny. And again, this build is mostly just for fun. It's not as good as his other builds, I feel, but it is funny. Roy attacks thanks to our lull skill. His speed buffs that he's getting don't matter. Actually, was he getting a speed buff? He was next to Corrin, so maybe not. And then this Corrin is just... yeah, see, we don't even need to be stacking Swift Sparrow because we're still doing so much damage on enemy, or on enemy phase, so like, who cares? Alright, got our buffs and just finish her off. Goodbye. Bam! She survives, hits us with the Dark Breath, but then, oh surprise, it's Glimmer. 37 on a blue. It's pretty good. Definitely not as crazy of a build as I was hoping, but it works. It works pretty well. And that just leaves our Aether Raids Gale Force, so let's hop over to the Aether Keep. Alright, we are here at the Keep. This is my Astra, or my Anima defense team. They've actually worked pretty well, especially now that I added Thracier. But certainly not the most consistent thing, but they work pretty decently, considering how bad my defenses are. But more importantly, we're here to do a friend mock battle. I don't remember... I've fought everyone on my list, but I don't remember who has the kind of setup that I would use Gale Force against. That doesn't look like a set that I would use Gale Force against. That looks like the kind of nasty setup I would try and use Gale Force against. Merita's a little iffy, but I think I could maybe swing this. So we're going to switch the seasons to light. Here's our Gale Force team. Of course, we got Byleth with his Aether Raids Gale Force setup. We've got Raven, who actually needs a Sacred Seal. How did I forget? Grab him his Heavy Blade off of Parry. 4-star plus 10 Raven works pretty dang well, actually. We got Ellawood rocking that Blazing Durandal. Quicken Pulse sets Gale Force to 4 charges, much more consistent. Peony is actually an awesome mythic. I still need to get her like Fury or something for her A slot, but she's very good actually. And then Air, kind of not great for Gale Force and Vantage strats because she's always healing you. I don't want to take that off because it's helpful for my tank setup, but not helpful here. But we're just going to dive into this and see if we can get this team to work. So we're going to send her over there. Move everyone over. Actually, yeah, that's fine. I messed up. Alright. That does that. And now we'll have to work pretty quickly so that we don't get healed too much by Air, but we're going to have Air smite Ellawood up, and Ellawood will attack the Seer. Unfortunately, he one-shots her, so not great, but we will send Byleth, our best boy who we're showcasing, in to kill Leaf, trigger his Gale Force, and he can come in and attack someone. Have Peony come over, dance Ellawood, and now he can... don't want to attack Merita. Raven cannot warp over to him. Byleth can't kill Merita. That's what's interesting about this. This is definitely the example of a kind of keep I would use this against, but Merita does make things more complicated. So we'll have Ellawood attack Ophelia. have Eliwood attack Ajora. Oh, now we can kill Marita. Take her out. She hits us with the Ruptured Sky. We barely survive and get the counter kill. Gale Force is very inconsistent, but when it works really beautifully. And this is an example of why putting Duma up in a corner, generally not the greatest idea. Now I'll just snipe the pot. And don't want to actually take that, but send everyone else up. And have Peony attack. But you guys see how the basic strategy works. You get someone injured, send them up, and then have them start doing nutty shenanigans. This Duma, though, is an example of why I am running Hardy Bearing on air. But we can't quite kill him, so we're going to have air, or have her pull back. Hit Duma with air. This was a tricky keep, actually. This was really tricky, but like I said, well, actually, I guess Hardy Bearing doesn't matter on air in this scenario because their Duma doesn't have distant counter. But imagine if he had distant counter. This lets us kind of play around it. This was certainly not a perfect demonstration, but it should give you the idea. And you guys saw Byleth do his Byleth thing up there and how he would function in a Gale Force setup. So yes. So that is our Byleth showcase. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Gonna set him back over to his default setup here. Hopefully you guys saw how we were able to put together some various builds, even using a lot of the same skills. You can see there's some diversity in this. And hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully maybe gives you some ideas on how to build your Byleth. A lot of people got him for free from the 3 Houses promo, or even just ideas for other sets. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is Hoodie Angel Brandon and Professor Byleth. Class is dismissed.